Imagine the African savanna, a place of breathtaking beauty and brutal competition. This is our birthplace, the cradle of our species. Here, among the grasslands and forests, early Homo sapiens took their first steps. Life was a daily struggle for survival. Food was scarce, predators were numerous, and the elements were unforgiving. Early humans were not at the top of the food chain. They were prey as much as predators. Their survival depended on their wits, their ability to cooperate, and their capacity to adapt. Over time, they developed skills and knowledge that allowed them to thrive in this challenging environment. They learned to hunt together, to gather food efficiently, and to create tools that gave them an edge. From these humble beginnings, Homo sapiens embarked on an incredible journey. They didn't just survive, they thrived. They spread out from their African homeland, migrating across continents, adapting to diverse environments. They crossed deserts and mountains, navigated rivers and seas, eventually populating the entire globe. This expansion was driven by a combination of factors. Climate change played a role, shifting landscapes and creating new opportunities. Population growth increased competition for resources, pushing groups to seek new territories. But perhaps the most important factor was an insatiable curiosity, an innate drive to explore the unknown. Language, the tool that built us. Imagine trying to explain a complex idea without using words. It's nearly impossible, isn't it? Now, imagine our ancestors living in a world without language. How did they convey information? How did they share their thoughts and experiences? The development of language was a pivotal moment in human evolution, a cognitive Rubicon we crossed, forever changing our destiny. Language, with its intricate system of symbols and sounds, allowed us to communicate complex ideas with unprecedented precision. We could share information about food sources, warn each other about dangers, and pass down knowledge from one generation to the next. Out of the trees into the caves, early shelters. For millions of years, our primate ancestors sought refuge in trees, finding safety amongst the branches from predators and the elements. But as Homo sapiens evolved, so too did our relationship with the environment. We began to descend from the trees, venturing out onto the open savannas, exploring new territories and facing new challenges. This shift in habitat required a new kind of shelter, one that provided protection and security in this unfamiliar terrain. Caves, with their natural rock formations and sheltered interiors, offered the perfect solution. These natural shelters provided protection from the elements, a place to escape the heat of the day or the chill of the night. They offered refuge from predators, a safe haven where early humans could rest and raise their young without the constant fear of attack. Imagine a world without maps, without compasses, without any knowledge of the lands that lay beyond the horizon. This was the world our ancestors faced as they embarked on their epic journey out of Africa. They followed ancient trails blazed by animals, navigated by the stars, and guided by their own intuition and observations. Their migration routes, etched into the fossil record, and the genetic makeup of modern populations, tell a tale of resilience, adaptation, and the relentless human spirit of exploration. One of the earliest and most important routes led out of Africa, across the Sinai Peninsula, and into the Levant, a region in the eastern Mediterranean encompassing present-day Israel, Lebanon, and parts of Syria. This region, a land bridge connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe, became a crossroads for early human migrations, a melting pot of cultures and ideas. A world of difference, encountering diverse environments. Imagine stepping out of a time machine, transported from the African savanna to the frozen wastelands of Siberia or the lush rainforests of Southeast Asia. This is what it must have been like for our ancestors as they ventured further and further from their ancestral homeland. encountering a breathtaking diversity of environments, each with its own unique challenges and opportunities. In Europe, they encountered vast grasslands teeming with large herbivores, ideal for hunting. But they also faced frigid winters and competition from other hominids, such as Neanderthals, who had already adapted to these challenging conditions. Survival in Europe required not only technological innovation, but also social intelligence, the ability to navigate complex social dynamics and forge alliances with other groups. The coastline advantage, food and travel. As Homo sapiens spread across the globe, they didn't just follow inland routes, they also hugged coastlines, taking advantage of the rich resources and ease of travel offered by the sea. This coastal route became a major migration pathway, leading them along the southern coast of Asia, through Southeast Asia, and eventually to Australia and the Pacific Islands. The ocean provided a vital source of protein and other essential nutrients. Early humans learned to exploit shellfish beds, fish in shallow waters, and eventually build boats and venture further out to sea in pursuit of larger prey. Imagine trekking through an unfamiliar forest, the air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. You round a bend, and there, standing silently in a sun-dappled clearing, is a group of beings unlike any you've ever seen. They are similar to you, yet different, with heavy brows and stocky builds. Our ancestors faced this as they ventured out of Africa, encountering other hominids. Homo sapiens shared Africa with other hominid species, but as they migrated, they met these distant relatives. Cousins, not strangers, the Neanderthals. Of all the hominids our ancestors encountered, the Neanderthals are perhaps the most well-known and well-studied. These sturdy, robust humans, named after the Neander Valley in Germany where their remains were first discovered, inhabited Europe and parts of Asia for over 300,000 years, enduring multiple ice ages and developing a complex culture well adapted to the challenges of their environment. Neanderthals were not the dim-witted brutes they were once portrayed to be. They possessed brains as large as, if not larger than, those of Homo sapiens, and archaeological evidence suggests they were skilled hunters, toolmakers, and even artists. They crafted sophisticated stone tools, controlled fire, and buried their dead, sometimes with symbolic objects hinting at a belief in an afterlife. Echoes in the bones evidence of interbreeding. For decades, the question of whether Homo sapiens interbred with Neanderthals remained a subject of speculation and debate. Some scientists argued that the anatomical differences between the two species were too great to allow for successful interbreeding, while others pointed to suggestive evidence in the fossil record and the possibility of limited gene flow between populations. However, the advent of ancient DNA analysis revolutionized our understanding of human evolution, providing conclusive proof that our ancestors did, in fact, interbreed with Neanderthals. By extracting and sequencing DNA from Neanderthal fossils, scientists were able to compare their genetic makeup to that of modern humans. The results were startling. They revealed that all non-African populations today carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA, typically around 1 to 4%, indicating that interbreeding occurred after Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa. Competition or cooperation? The mystery of coexistence. The discovery of interbreeding between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals paints a more nuanced picture of their interactions than the traditional narrative of competition and replacement. While competition for resources and territory likely played a role in the Neanderthals' demise, it's clear that their interactions with our ancestors weren't solely adversarial. There were periods of coexistence, cultural exchange, and even, as we now know, genetic mixing. The fossil record provides tantalizing clues about the nature of their coexistence. In some regions, such as the Levant, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens appear to have occupied the same sites at different times, suggesting a pattern of territoriality, but not necessarily direct conflict. In other areas, evidence suggests they may have lived in close proximity for extended periods, raising the possibility of more complex social interactions. Outliving the Neanderthals. The disappearance of Neanderthals around 40,000 years ago marks a significant turning point in human history. It left Homo sapiens as the sole surviving hominid species on Earth. The reasons for our survival and their extinction remain debated. Several factors likely contributed to the Neanderthals' demise. Climate change and competition with Homo sapiens are key theories. The dawn of innovation, tools, and technology. Imagine trying to survive in a world without tools, without the means to shape your environment or defend yourself from predators. This was the reality for our earliest ancestors. But as Homo sapiens evolved, so too did our capacity for innovation. The development of tools and technology marked a turning point in our evolutionary journey, setting us on a path toward unprecedented control over our world. The earliest Homo sapiens tools were simple, crafted from readily available materials like stone, bone, and wood. These early tools, while rudimentary, allowed our ancestors to access new food sources, process materials more efficiently, and defend themselves more effectively. Over time, these tools became more sophisticated, reflecting a growing understanding of materials and techniques. The art of survival, hunting and gathering strategies. Survival in the prehistoric world required more than just tools. It demanded a deep understanding of the environment and the development of sophisticated strategies for obtaining food. Homo sapiens, like their hominid ancestors, were hunter-gatherers, relying on a combination of hunting wild animals and gathering plant foods for sustenance. But as their cognitive abilities evolved, so too did their hunting and gathering techniques, becoming more efficient, more cooperative, and more adaptable to diverse environments. Early humans were opportunistic hunters, taking advantage of whatever prey animals were available in their surroundings. They hunted small game, scavenged from carcasses, and occasionally brought down larger prey through cooperative hunting strategies. These early hunts required coordination, communication, and a deep understanding of animal behavior, laying the groundwork for the development of complex social structures and communication systems. A social web, the power of community. Imagine trying to survive in the prehistoric world alone, without the support of a group, without the shared knowledge and resources of a community. The odds of survival would be slim indeed. For Homo sapiens, like many primate species, sociality was not just a choice. It was a necessity, woven into the very fabric of our being. Early humans lived in small nomadic bands, typically consisting of a few dozen individuals related by kinship or marriage ties. These bands provided a safety net, a source of support and protection in a world fraught with danger. Group living offered numerous advantages, from increased efficiency in hunting and gathering to enhanced defense against predators. The spark of creativity, early art and symbolism. In the depths of caves, hidden from the outside world, a remarkable phenomenon emerged, the birth of art. Early humans, using pigments derived from natural materials like ochre, charcoal, and manganese, began to adorn cave walls with paintings of animals, hand stencils, and abstract symbols. These early artistic expressions, dating back tens of thousands of years, provide a tantalizing glimpse into the minds of our ancestors, their beliefs, their worldviews, and their capacity for symbolic thought. The meaning and purpose of these early artistic endeavors are still debated among archaeologists and anthropologists. Some theories suggest that cave paintings served a ritualistic function, perhaps related to hunting magic or fertility rituals. Others propose that they were a form of early communication, conveying information about animal migrations, hunting strategies, or territorial boundaries. Beyond words, the evolution of language. Imagine a world without language, without the ability to share your thoughts, ideas, and experiences with others. Such a world, while perhaps peaceful in its silence, would be devoid of the rich tapestry of human communication that shapes our relationships, our cultures, and our very understanding of the world. The evolution of language stands as one of the most significant milestones in human history, a cognitive Rubicon we crossed that forever altered our destiny. Pinpointing the exact origins of language is a task fraught with difficulty. Unlike tools or fossils, language leaves behind no physical trace, its evolution shrouded in the mists of time. However, scientists believe that early forms of language likely emerged alongside the development of other cognitive abilities, such as symbolic thought, tool-making, and complex social interactions. Seeds of change, the agricultural revolution. For millions of years, our ancestors lived as nomads, dictated by nature. They hunted, gathered, and moved as resources dwindled. Around 10,000 years ago, a profound shift occurred. The advent of agriculture forever altered human history. Imagine realizing we could cultivate plants, nurturing growth, and harvesting bounty. From nomads to settlers, the rise of villages and cities. With the advent of agriculture, the nomadic lifestyle that had defined Homo sapiens for millennia began to give way to a more settled existence. As early farmers cultivated crops and domesticated animals, they established permanent or semi-permanent settlements, marking a profound shift in human social organization and laying the foundation for the development of villages and, eventually, cities. Imagine the early villages, clusters of dwellings nestled near fields and water sources, their inhabitants linked by kinship ties, and the shared experience of cultivating the land. These early communities, while simple in structure, represented a radical departure from the nomadic past. They fostered cooperation, specialization of labor, and the development of new technologies for farming, food storage, and construction. The power of belief, religion, and early civilizations. As human societies grew larger and more complex, so too did our systems of belief and our attempts to make sense of the world around us. Religion, with its rituals, myths, and moral codes, emerged as a powerful force in early civilizations, shaping social norms, influencing political structures, and providing a sense of order and meaning in a world often perceived as unpredictable and chaotic. Imagine the early religious practices, perhaps rooted in ancestor worship, animism, or the veneration of natural forces. These beliefs, often passed down through oral traditions and rituals, provided a framework for understanding the cycles of life and death, the changing seasons, and the often unpredictable forces of nature. Section 4. A time of innovation, bronze, writing, and the wheel. The transition from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to settled agriculture laid the groundwork for a cascade of technological innovations that would further transform human societies. This era, often referred to as the Bronze Age for the emergence of bronze as a dominant material for tools and weapons, witnessed a flourishing of creativity and ingenuity with inventions such as writing and the wheel, revolutionizing communication, transportation, and the very fabric of human civilization. Imagine the impact of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, on early societies. Bronze, harder and more durable than its predecessor, copper, allowed for the creation of more effective tools, weapons, and armor. This technological advancement had profound social and military implications, shifting power dynamics between individuals and communities and fueling competition for resources and territory. The unfinished story Homo sapiens in the modern age. From those early tentative steps out of Africa, Homo sapiens have reshaped the planet. We are a species defined by our extraordinary journey, our capacity for innovation, and our enduring impact on the world around us. The story of Homo sapiens is not confined to the distant past. It's a story still being written, a narrative that continues to unfold with each passing generation. Look around. We have built towering cities, created intricate networks of communication, and unlocked the secrets of the atom. We have explored the deepest oceans, conquered the highest mountains, and even ventured beyond the confines of our own planet, leaving footprints on the moon and sending probes to distant worlds. The paradox of progress, challenges of the Anthropocene. We have entered a new geological epoch, the Anthropocene, an era defined by human influence on the planet. Our impact is undeniable, from the sprawling urban landscapes we've created to the altered composition of the atmosphere and the oceans. Yet this progress comes at a cost, a paradox we must confront if we are to ensure our own survival and the well-being of future generations. Climate change, driven by our reliance on fossil fuels and unsustainable consumption patterns, poses one of the most pressing threats to our species and the countless others with whom we share this planet. Rising temperatures, melting glaciers, and more frequent extreme weather events threaten our food security, our water resources, and the delicate balance of ecosystems worldwide. A future unknown, charting the course of Homo sapiens. The future of Homo sapiens, like our past, is shrouded in uncertainty. We stand at a crossroads, facing unprecedented challenges, but also possessing unparalleled opportunities. The choices we make today, individually and collectively, will determine the course of our species and the fate of the planet we call home. Will we succumb to the challenges of the Anthropocene, our ingenuity overwhelmed by the consequences of our own actions? Or will we rise to the occasion, harnessing our intelligence, our creativity, and our capacity for cooperation to forge a more sustainable and just future for all?